my little cousin. So when he was at Verb, my little cousin was at Centennial, and so I used to see them in all the travel ball, and I used to be like, "Hey man," because the nigga's nickname was Yogi, and I was like, "This little nigga is incredible! Like this is crazy." That motherfucker was doing that shit in high school, like, and then was able to embody all of that shit, be the same exact nigga in the pros.
Mhm.
Personality, temperament, everything. You know, they're talking about Rod Strickland. Man, Rod Strickland. Like, what would Rod Strickland do in this age? With
Man,
no hand checks?
yeah, get out of here.
With the little touch foul shit? A nigga would average 20 on layups. Because you can't touch these dudes. Man, nigga, all Boykins would kill today. Because you can't touch cats now.
Yep.
Robert Pack would kill. Robert Pack would have a far longer career because you can't touch dudes. Robert Pack was the best guard on a team that upset the number one seed.
Facts. Hey, let's get it cracking.
I remember niggas at NC. I was like, this nigga.
SC's finest. Hey, so what's up, everybody? This is Skinny Black's Lounge. My name is Rob, aka Skinny Black. Hey, y'all just introduce yourself because I don't know how y'all situated on y'all screens besides my screen. Hey, let's start with Rennie.
Rennie. Yeah.
Yep. Cool. CT.
JT, the period is silent. Hi, Mom.
Yes, sir. And to my
Your left.
left. Yeah, right, left.
Yeah.
It goes to Lebo, man. It goes to Lebo.
100%.
You know, always in the house, you know, silent but deadly. You know what I'm saying? The strong silent type, Lebo. Before we get into the proceedings this evening, I know my man was kind of getting some sustenance in his body and taking a sip. But as we always do around this time, y'all know what it is. Suck a shit.
Yes, I was. You know, I was thinking.
Uh-oh.
I don't know if you guys saw this, but they had started a podcast, and I can't remember the exact name of it, but it was supposed to be like the rival of The View.
Oh,
And
yeah.
and they had a panel of women from real different philosophical, ideological, sexual, religious, and political backgrounds together. And they would bring on guests, this, and that. The host was Jillian Michaels, and it caught my eye because she stormed off the set in the most recent podcast and quit.
Right.
But what I started thinking about was I was like, oh, Jillian Michaels. And for people that don't remember her, she was the trainer on The Biggest Loser.
Yes.
And y'all remember The Biggest Loser? That's when they took obese people and put them in fat camp and paid them money in a competition to see who could lose the most weight. I used to watch The Biggest Loser, not for me, but because I had fat people in my family. I figure I could help them out. Because I wanted to be armed with information, not knowing I would get a gut in my older age. But when I was young, I was like, I'm gonna help my auntie and my uncle. So a couple things that they said on The Biggest Loser was some simple stuff that you guys probably know, but maybe other people don't know. Number one, they said you need to read the labels on whatever you eat
Mhm.
because by federal mandate, they have to explain the ingredients and what's in everything, right?
Mhm.
This another thing they used to say was if you go to a grocery store on average, if you walk outside the grocery store on the outside aisles, that's where they keep the fresh fruit, the fresh produce, the juices, and everything all the way around. And if you go on the inside, that's where the junk food is. That's where you gonna get your Cocoa Puffs. That's where you gonna get your Pop Tarts. You know, it's gonna be on the inside of the aisle. You understand what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And then I was like, man, they didn't know that they was giving advice on relationships.
Okay, speak on it.
You meet somebody and it sounds all good, it looks all good, everything is good. You know what you never did? You never read the ingredients on the label.
Mm.
And even if you went to read the ingredients, you know, it's some ingredients that you're gonna need a translator for. But that's for another conversation for another day, right? But you know that high fructose sugar ain't good for you.
Yes, sir.
You know what's high fructose sugar?
What's that?
All those magical words that dudes say that women want to hear.
Mm.
Because you don't want the truth. You want affirmation and confirmation. So what do we do as men? We'll give you that high fructose sugar. Because you're not gonna read the label. Well, what is that for men? Man, let me tell you how fine she is. Man, you see the legs on her. You see this, you see that. But you know, everybody want a Maserati till you got to pay the bill and the maintenance. I heard somebody say years ago, a comedian talk about every young man needs a pickup truck because it'll get you around and it's also useful if you need to make some extra money. Maybe you need to get that pickup truck woman instead of that Maserati. Maybe you need to read that label.
Mm.
Now, in terms of walking on the outside, that's the same thing as that Maserati I'm talking about. It looked good, but once you get inside of it, nigga, that's a Twinkie. That is cream filling that'll kill you. It's a whole bunch of us that's on them inside aisles with Twinkies and hoo-hoos and whatnots, honey bunning our asses off, instead of digging into the real thing that's gonna feed you, that's gonna edify you. And I'm just gonna say this as a side note. Sometimes stuff that's good for you, like I got told, you know, you should go on that vegetable and fruit diet. And I asked, does it come with a roll of toilet paper?
Absolutely.
Because the stuff that's really good for you is gonna get the shit out.
Oof, oof, oof.
And that's why
Yeah.
I say you non-biggest loser niggas, you on some sucker shit.
Once again, did not see that one coming.
Like we always do right around this time.
Did not see that one coming. Oh, but it was great. Oh man, you know, hold on, give me 1 second. On that note, I know folk have different. I had a question for you guys. How is, you know, I know Cat's got different engagement with this question, but what's the dating scene out there over 40? What it look like over 50?
I just think that the cyberspace has definitely affected the level of how you interact with people, and there's a tremendous amount of pretense as it exists. You know what I mean? And it's a lot to maneuver, specifically in the space of the apps and things like that. And so I think that the biggest thing when we've had this discussion before, what I say is, for women and for men, it's a very different look as it comes to that. So this whole thing is based on a mutual like of physicality as you present in these apps. Okay. And we know that men are volume hunters. And so men are going to show favorability to far more women than women will show to men. Men will be a little bit more discerning. The difference is that in that volume space for men still keep it the same way. Man, I'm just gonna keep throwing stuff out there and see what sticks. I had a friend who was early into the cyber dating scene, 10 years, and his deal was, he's now married actually. His deal was, he said the wildest thing possible right off the gate.
Yeah.
And when I say wild, I mean most sexually explicit thing right off the gate. And either they immediately unmatched, or they would be offended and say something, or you would get the, you so crazy, the LOL. And immediately he got into his lane. Now, based on my experience of talking to women who do this, who in the scene, they were always offended by that guy. And I was like, why? Why are you offended by him? He's putting it out there. You know exactly where he's coming from. That is refreshing. You have a choice at that point. Oh, that's not what I want. Moving on.
Right.
No obfuscation, no subterfuge, no deception. There, he gets exactly what he wanted, found that woman exactly, and whatever went from there, was it sustainable or not? Eventually met his wife there. Not only eventually met his wife there, they had sex on the first date. No 90 days, no nothing. They matched at like 7 p.m. Met at the Hustler Casino. Smashed and was engaged 6 months later. Right? No pretense, no nothing.
Hell of
None of that other stuff. I mean, that was his agenda, and he had a plan. He followed through it and rolled with it. Now, most men, like I said, it's a volume thing in that space. Women, because men are in volume, men keep it the same perspective. Their mentality never changed in the space of it. This is just something that gives them an opportunity, older men, because younger men are different, to meet the people without the pretense of these spaces. That hard walk up to a woman and try to create chemistry in seconds. this allows for a soft landing in the space, rejection or otherwise. Women, however, because of the volume of the attention you get via the like, they mistake that for substance. And that what it has the tendency to do is now, how do you discern now in this cyberspace? How do you discern? How do you root this out? Now you're looking, you got this superficial list of things instead of delving into like a conversation and interacting. Now, granted, it's a volume, so it's difficult in that regard for them to choose. And so they start using these criteria, this flow mat and criteria, as you know, the Bishop Don would say, you know, flow mat and criteria. And so they start doing things like degree, income, and these other things, height specifically. You know, women who's 5'3" woman would be like, oh, must be 6'1". Bitch, you 5'3". Like, and so in the discerning now, they've eliminated a specific amount of men and have done so without creating a criteria of substance. It's good to have your superficial things. Don't get me wrong, superficial things, if they're important to you, then they're important to you. But then you've eliminated a whole spectrum of it. And then that volume then makes for a messy interaction, because you're not creating interaction based on commonalities other than physical. And then you're looking for some kind of immediate, spontaneous chemistry over text. And we all know, just in our regular daily interaction with the people that we know and love, how those things are lost in translation. How text, the ambiguity of it, the tone of it is lost. So now you do it with someone you have no history with, no background. So now imagine what it's like to maneuver that in that space of that volume of all of that. It is a very, very confusing space. Now, those that have grown up in it, the youth, this is how they get out. This is how they roll.
Yeah.
But for us who came from the era of memorizing a number, walking across that room in front of a bunch of people,
always carrying a pen,
braving that rejection that could be seen within that group, it is an extreme adjustment. It is an extreme adjustment. You had to get your macking up.
Right.
You know what I mean? You couldn't just be handsome. Or you couldn't just be about it had to be a little bit more substance behind it. So now the cyberspace has now made it definitively a more difficult to make genuine connections.
So the whack cats are winning, is what you're saying?
I wouldn't say they're winning.
Say whack.
I would say
less skilled.
The less skilled are winning. What I'm saying is, I think it is a lot easier, because the rate of deception that you could pull off via the cyberspace is greater.
Wow.
And
hold on. All right. Before I say what I'm gonna say,
okay.
I had a run as the shortest brother on the podcast, and since I played basketball, I'm the shortest brother on damn near every team I was on, or in the bottom three. When women would say to me that height mattered, I would say that's why I date midgets. Because the shit you saying, I'm gonna match it with some ridiculousness so you could understand. That's why your 6'3", 153 ass. That's why I'm gonna take 4'2".
Right.
Now, in terms of the example that Ren laid out, my man was being honest.
Yeah, no doubt.
and honesty, no matter what era, initially has not been rewarded.
Mm.
So what he did was eliminate trapdoor holes with his response. What's a trapdoor hole?
I was just about to ask.
A trapdoor hoe is the woman that claims that the floor fell underneath her and she landed on the penis. The trapdoor fell and I landed on the penis. And he eliminated that. That's why they didn't like him. You mean to tell me I can't make no excuses? That nigga said that up front.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they didn't like him. So what they need is another liar to match their lie, so then they could get together. And when it don't work, everybody lying. So I'm gonna keep lying.
Right.
The reason why he found his wife is because he led with honesty.
Yes. Righteous.
Let me give you the other side of the coin too. It's not just a two-sided coin. It's more like a Rubik's Cube, but okay. Women say they don't want to be judged. You know who won't judge you? The dude that lead with that kind of honesty.
Mm-hmm. That dude, not at all. Matter of fact, he's looking for you. He's celebrating.
But they don't, because they don't want to be judged in general. They don't want to be judged by the dude that they want. The contingency is always about the dude they want. It's not always, most of the time. It's not always and never. Let me be fair. I was having a conversation with some young ladies, goddaughters, cousins, da da da. And I said, when y'all speak of men and what you want out of a man, you're speaking about the man you already want. You're not talking about the one you don't want. So when you say, like, I've been told by a woman that liked me or loved me that she wanted me to be more expressive, she wanted me to be more sensitive. But that was because it was me. Not because she wanted an expressive or sensitive dude off rip. She wanted me off rip, and then she wanted me to be more sensitive and expressive. Right? So so I'm on stage and I'm performing a play. You know, you always got an understudy in the back just in case I catch pneumonia. So the understudy will listen and think, oh, if I'm just more sensitive, I'm going to get on stage. No, you're going to be a further understudy.
Right.
Because what you're doing is you're not watching the actor, you're listening to the crowd. So in Ren's example, he talking about a dude that's honest and upfront with it. And lo and behold, he found a wife. Why? Because she matched that honesty. She respected that honesty. She came as she was. He came as he was. And they was like, hey, hoes can get together. You know, I ain't never been to a wedding with two hoes. I've been to a one hoe maximum wedding. You know, but I would have loved to have been there. I'll take you, hoe. I'll take you, hoe. You know,
it was a grand old time.
That's what I'm saying. It sounds like fun. It sounds like fun. You know,
I can imagine what their wedding party was like.
Man, they was electric sliding no condoms.
Hey, a lot of people disappearing throughout the night.
That's hey. I had to wear my outfit with the mushroom lining on the jacket, like boomerang.
Bang, 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 bang. Wow. Okay. That's what it's like out there, huh?
Look at him, my boy eating. He got a soy souffle.
It's just a salad, man.
Same difference, baby.
Hey Jack, you had a situation a couple weeks ago. Long time. A couple years ago. Let's say a couple years ago.
Yeah, I was about to say this nigga.
A couple years ago.
This motherfucker Barbara Walters.
The name will be changed to protect the innocent. But this is about the situation. I mean, there was a real high level transformation that happened. Can you give us a snippet and break that down?
I've had a couple of those, sir.
It was a moment where there was a realization to this woman that you're speaking to, and how you led it in with the questions.
Okay.
Not just banged it over the head, but like led in with the question. Here's an example.
Okay. So this is. I'm not gonna go into great detail, but this is what I'll say in general. I think that first off, let's start with some foundational things. As men and women, we are different.
Mm-hmm.
We have different minds. We have different thought patterns. We think, we speak, we feel differently. If you don't have that foundation, then this won't work.
Hmm.
And the reason why it won't work is because I didn't look at her as a dysfunctional man.
That's right.
So I could not translate her through me. She was experiencing something, and some of it was about me, but most of it wasn't.
Right.
It was related to life history, different things. And the token term for it is womanese. She was speaking full womanese. So I pulled out my Google Translate and we engaged in the conversation. Now, the initial thing is you get upset, you get bothered because you get accused of things you're not doing. Scenarios get set up that don't exist. And you have to fight through that to get to what is normally called the point. It's going to take wherewithal. I want you to think of like you are stranded in space, but you have to re-enter the Earth's atmosphere to make it home. It's going to get hot on the way in. But that's the only way you're going to get home. And that's what the conversation was. But we have to take the steps.
Yeah.
When you said this, what did you mean by that?
Right.
Even deeper.
Right.
When you say this word in this sentence, let me give you an example that wasn't about her. I had this conversation with my daughter recently. She said, she said the word respect 6 times in 2 minutes. And I said, well, what's respect to you? And then when she gave me her definition of respect, I said, I don't want to lay the heavy shit on you, baby, but that's not what respect is. I said, you're calling it respect so you can use the word disrespect.
The wraparound.
So when I entered into this dialogue, I just wanted more information.
Yeah.
Then when I explained myself, I use myself as an example first. I use the word we over and over again. Because we means both of us, all of us, we in this together. You means you isolated. Because what I've learned in terms of accountability is if I say to you guys, hey man, you fucked up, you don't think that you're a fucked up person. You think you just made a mistake. But if you say you fucked up to a woman, she'll think I'm a bad wife, I'm a bad woman, I'm a
Yep.
bad girlfriend. I'm a bad mother. So we is support. Now you can say it's right or wrong. I don't care. I'm just telling you how to communicate. Because in their circles, they're on we. Because the sisterhood doesn't say you fucked up.
Hmm.
They say we. We, as men, say, hey man, you know you fucked up, right? And
Right.
we still boys.
We expect it.
So as we walk through that, we got to the end, and she was like, you know what? I didn't think about it that way. I see where you're coming from.
Wow.
But one of the things that I gave her as a foundational baseline about me was, and actually this comes from, because you always got to listen to different things. So I tell people this is not mine. This is comes from a conservative Jewish radio host named Dennis Prager. He said, I prefer clarity over agreement.
Yes.
It does not matter his politics, it doesn't matter that stuff. But that line right there is what I said as the foundation of who I am. So I establish who I am. I prefer clarity over agreement. So I'm okay with us disagreeing, but I'm not okay with us not being clear.
Love it.
Now I said all that, and it sounds great, and we could all nod as brothers and bobbleheads. But I'm just gonna say that only 10% of men are gonna have the balls to do what I just said.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the
Because
blueprint is there, but you gotta have
most
the
of y'all
courage
is
and nuts to do
scared.
it.
Most of y'all niggas is scared, and I've been scared too.
Yep.
And the ones that
wanna
aren't
let you-
scared are dealing in an element of playing the game of deception, giving people what they want to hear as opposed to what they need to hear.
Mm.
Well, you can't. Okay, you can't be your authentic self and put that out there if you run a game. Those two don't go together.
Right.
So let me also give that as a caveat. If you run a game, run your game, man. This ain't for you. But I'll say, for the brothers that aren't running game on a woman, the vast majority of those brothers are running game on themselves. I've been there. I've done that. I got the receipts. This is mainly for those brothers.
Mm.
If she doesn't want you and desire you for your authentic self, what are we doing?
Right.
Anything else? Anything else? Anything else? You headed for failure. One of my uncles told me this. I think I said this to you guys before, but it's worth repeating. It was the 2-finger rule. You know, you slow dance at the high school, junior high school, middle school, whatever dance. He said, if you put your 2 fingers in the small of her back and she arch it to you, that's your woman. If she wiggle away, that's everybody's woman.
Either way, it ain't yours.
When you your authentic self, that's the 2 fingers in the back, son.
No.
Anything else? No judgment, no nothing. Just recognize that's not for you.
Right.
That's all.
And the fact that there is someone there for you. That's the thing. You know,
For sure.
there's no need to force it.
Put it out there.
No need to
When I
force it.
see, hey man, when I see like a couple at like what is it, Comic-Con, and she got on the motherfucking Tomb Raider outfit, and this motherfucker dressed like Batman, I'm like, they're gonna be together.
Match made.
Cause they done found like the person that's like ride with them we gonna like, to me it's goofy. But I'm like, that's they niche. They rock.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't care what no, like, do you know what you got to dress like Batman and walk down Figueroa? Do you know how confident in your shit you gotta be?
This past weekend, I saw a whole bunch of them.
Hey, I thought you was gonna say with the furry outfits with the big heads. I thought you were gonna
I
say
wasn't
something
even
like that.
gonna go there because that's next level. But what I'm saying is that they found their tribe and they rock with it.
Yeah.
They found their person and they rocking.
You know how many unhandsome Harley Quinns and Jokers I saw this weekend?
Oh,
They was love.
wow.
I'm saying that's dope to me.
Good for
That's-
them.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Oh, man, they found each other. Let me we got 4 clips we're gonna hit and then we're gonna shut it down because I know Ren, you got stuff to do too.
I'm doing it as we doing it right now. You know what I'm saying?
For the record, there's only 2 clips, but go ahead, put yours on.
Okay, it's like
Don't disrespect the group, homie.
Already ran and did one thing.
Okay. Hold on, let me go back.
That's a good question. Who was the first man you saw show both tenderness and strength in your life? That's a good question. It sounds like it's a trick question.
See, what you're describing is a comprehensive man, and I coined the phrase because it didn't exist. As men, the gold standard in my neighborhood in Detroit was hypermasculine. You got the girls, you got the money, you got the props. But the young man who say maybe wants to be a chef, and because he's in the kitchen trying to learn how to cook, society says that place is for a woman. You can't do that. I had to learn how to be more than just strong, a protector and provider, or what we would call masculine, because my mother had suffered dementia, and she needed someone stronger than providing money, someone who protected her from doctors who pushed pills on her. She needed someone to be understanding and patient and long-suffering when she would have these mental episodes where she would curse me out. And still I had to have the capacity or the self-control to massage her scalp and say, Mama, it's gonna be okay. So I learned how to become tender, but also tough, because whenever someone tried to treat her wrong, they saw a different side of me. So I would say I was the first man in my own life to be comprehensive, to be a nurturer, and also a lion as well.
Whew. Gentlemen, what's your definition of comprehensive man?
I don't know that I. That's a developing. I would say comprehensive. For my own definition is something that an evolving state of manhood that is malleable to circumstances that you currently exist in, while keeping, as we say, a set of core principles. You know, and being true to what those principles are to guide you in those spaces. Like, to me, my grandfather was what he described as, from the perspective of being his child, what he was in his relationship with his wife was different, because she had a set of expectations there that that he didn't meet in this space, because there were some choices to be made, and his choices were, hey man, I have to care for this whole entire tribe. And since he was doing it for the collective, making sacrifices for the collective in that way, you know, his rationale was she had to make those same sacrifices also. So as his child, that relative, the sensitivity, the affection, the firmness that you need, and the guidance, and the discipline. You know, he provided all those things with me. And it wasn't a matter of we've had the discussion before. It wasn't a matter of simple, words like I value my son. His stuff was demonstrated through action, and
Right.
actually, like very few words. Said it numerous times. I never heard him say, "I love you," but
Mm.
I at no point in time did I ever not feel loved.
Dope.
At no point in time did I ever even doubt it. To the point where my concept of what love is based on what was endowed to me from him.
Mm.
This is how you love. This is how you show up for people.
Mm.
This is how you physically love. Putting his hands on you and that level of affection. It wasn't just I'm out here doing the work. There was a tenderness that existed in that space. So within that, you know what I mean, I take those things from the men that raised me, and um I create what is needed for me and for me to be successful. I look at things that you do, I look at things that JT does, and I incorporate everything that I see you guys employ successfully, and that I admire, and that I want to see myself in.
Mm.
Many different things that I see that you guys do and demonstrate with your children, beyond your children, but also in the way you show up for all of us, we show up for each other, and things like that. And I say, man, I need to incorporate that into my space, and incorporate that into what I am, and be comprehensive in that.
Wow. Yes. Likewise, brother.
Yeah,
Quick.
there's so many layers to this conversation that they're having. Let me offer a couple things. Number one, the framing of that question and the order of that question is very important.
Mm.
Okay, because strength came last. Okay, so if I was to answer the question, I'm going to say never. But if you put strength first and what do we say, tenderness, for lack of the word, I can't remember, second, then I've seen it.
Mm.
I've seen one of the strongest men that has ever led me, who I look up to, become tender and become caring later on. But I can honestly say, if he was tender and caring in the beginning, I wouldn't be the man I am today.
Mm.
I think there's a misconception sometimes about what young men need. And first of all, shout out to Jason Wilson and the work he does in the community and everything that he does. Because even if you watch his videos in the moment, it's discipline first and then explanation and love after.
Definitely.
So what he does is a microcosm of the macro that I'm talking about. What happened to me was over years, but he just does it in the moment. He does not let discipline go. The first thing he does is correction and discipline, and boom, and then he brings them back to him. Right? So he's just doing the second part faster as I see it. That's just my vantage point. And I think that there's room as men for us to talk about and negotiate what that looks like, because so much of that is situational. But I believe that young men specifically need structure.
Mm.
And I just haven't seen going from soft to hard working. I've seen going from hard to soft working. Right there is what the youngsters would be like, pause. But
Right. For real. Well, I
pause,
think
OG, pause. Pause, huh?
there's an important question that I'm curious about, really from both of you all, because of the examples you guys have talked about, and thinking about the young cats, right? Thinking about my own journey as a father, as a dad. Yeah. So how did you feel love if A, it wasn't said, and B, there was it led with discipline. It led with that strength. Like how could you, were you present in the moment? Were you looking for it? Were you looking for connection? Were you giving grace at the moment? Were you pausing on your own judgment and staying curious as a child? I mean, how did you sift through the discipline to find the love?
Hold on. Rennie, I usually let you go first. But let me just say this.
Yeah.
The fish is the last one to know it's in water. Don't give my young self all the knowledge that our older selves have. I was just getting through the shit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you felt something though. I mean, you
No,
had to
no.
feel some
No,
sort of
no, no.
connection.
I also, wait a minute, hold up. I also had nothing to compare it to.
So that's just what it was.
This is the situation I'm in. Now, here's the thing that I will align with Rennie on. At no point in time did I have any doubt that I was loved. Nobody ever had to say it to me for me to know it. Somewhere along the line, we got taught that saying I love you meant more than showing I love you.
There we go.
That's when the bullshit artist won right there.
There we go.
I remember having a conversation with one of my two children. I won't call them out. One of my two.
They remain nameless.
They said, well, now here's the crazy part. As a rule, I say every phone conversation, everything, I love you. Well, sometimes I ain't think you love me.
Man, I've gotten that.
You know what I said in response? I'm not responsible for your fucked up thought process. And then I laid out all the reasons. Because I'm not guilty of that accusation. Just because you feel something don't mean it's true. I'm a Laker fan. I could have felt the Lakers should have beat Detroit that second time around.
Yes, sir.
But both Magic Johnson and Byron Scott pulled their hamstrings and they lost. There's feelings and there's scoreboard.
Mm-hmm.
So the way I was raised, and I'm not saying it was totally right, I'm saying there's a balance between the two. We have lost the idea of scoreboard. Something that you can point to go, hey man, you down 20. Or you up 20.
Right.
And be mindful of either one. And so, as I was sitting in my grandparents' house, and they feed me,
Yeah.
they take care of me.
Yeah.
If I need anything, they there. Yeah, that's discipline. I got my ass whooped every day, but that wasn't because of them. That's because my ass was bad. But they didn't have to say like, "Hey, just grab me by the shoulders." I just want to let you know I love you. But somewhere along the line, we got to touch. And listen to what I'm saying. I tell my children all the time that I love them. We end every phone conversation, whether it's my son or my daughter, whoever says I love you first, the response is I love you more. So it's not like I'm not recognizing the importance of that. But what I'm telling you is that if I made them say I love you and I love you more and I didn't work, those are just words. It doesn't
I
mean
love.
shit. So I would submit that if I stopped that tradition of saying it, they would always have the memory of everything I've done to show you I love you more. And it's because I worked like that that when I say I love you more, it means something. That was the best version of niggas is punks that I could come up with. Y'all got it.
But also, if your action and your movement is embedded and is what love it is in the intent. When you do have to discipline, when you do have to draw those boundaries, it's within that scope. They're going to bristle, they're going to fight against it, but there's enough of the intent and actionable items that exist to support that. So my grandfather may have whooped my ass, and in hindsight, you know what I mean, there was never not one that wasn't
Wanted, deserved.
well, the provocation. I don't necessarily believe in the corporate punishment nowadays, but I was wilding. You know what I'm saying? I was doing some wild shit. You know what I mean? And I don't know if the timeout would work for me. I wasn't that smart. You know what I mean? So within the scope of all that demonstrative love, not verbal, but the demonstrative love in the context of living the life that we were living and understanding the effort it took to create that atmosphere that I lived in, given all of the other things that were pulling in the directions and pulling him in those space to still be able to create that, or John Powell, for Orlando Powell, to do these things for Carlos Powell, aka brother son, and Peter Powell, you know what I mean? Like, for them to do those things, for them to create that demonstrative love without any words, you know what I mean? When they were like, "Hey man, you are out of pocket," it didn't. I didn't immediately call into question that love.
Right.
I may have hated the boundary drawn. I may have hated it in that moment, but I may be lucky in that respect. That I never felt like I needed to question it. Even in the space, I was confused by it. You know what I mean? I was once told I love you, but I don't like you, and you don't do likable things. So in the scope of him telling me he loved me, he threw something in there with that caveat that set me into a several year contemplative what did that mean? And it took me a while because I was too young to understand the perspective that I wasn't doing likable things,
Right.
that I was trash with it. So everybody's going to react differently within that. But if you've demonstrated it, I mean, it's just like, the dude who's been coaching now, I don't, whatever 1987 is, you know what I'm saying, now?
Mhm.
You know what I mean? When the spectator, when the parent is at the practice and sees me screaming at their child or speaking very forcefully to their child and they're bristling, if their child isn't bristling, and they don't understand it, they want to immediately come and defend. I'm like, your child doesn't have a problem with it because I've loved on your child and they trust me enough to know that these are expectations.
Yeah.
And I have expectations for you because I love you. And sometimes my expectations for you are greater than the ones that you have for yourself because you are too young or too stupid to understand that you are greater than the circumstances that are in front of you at this moment. That you are far bigger than what's in front of you, even though everything seems to be obscured by that obstacle in front of you. You are greater than that. And that obstacle that may be in front of you, you may be creating yourself. It may not be even be external. So I am going to use this love, the discipline, and the the expectation to push you beyond that. And it ain't gonna be nice, and it ain't gonna be sweet.
They ain't gonna feel good.
It ain't, and it almost never feels good. Transition, growth, usually isn't.
Metamorphosis.
Well,
100%.
first of all, Randy, that love and like speech that you got was given to me by my older sister when when I was playing Where's Waldo with my penis in these LA streets.
I
And
play
that's
that
what she
too.
told me. And so, it's also an important lesson that we have to learn. I said recently in having a conversation, don't bring like to a love party
Man,
because you're not ready to make the same sacrifice.
That part.
So as men, we understand it. And as young men, it was presented to us and it confused us. So whoever said that to us was doing us a service. This is grown man talk, and we just try to make it relatable for other folks. But love and like is a real conversation, and it's probably a whole separate topic that you should write your notes down now, so we can talk about it later.
Gotcha.
But he brought up something that's powerful, because love and like, I give a preview. Love and like is tied to respect, and for men, respect is greater than love. And we can unpack that later. Now, I will volunteer this at my own peril and detriment, because I said that I deserved all my ass whooping. There is no woman out in this world that I have loved greater than my late grandmother, Rosetta. I lived with my grandmother till I was a teenager, and then I moved in with my mom because my parents were divorced before I was 1 year old. That's just full disclosure. That was my girl. I was in church with her 4 days a week. All she did was raise kids and read the Bible and whoop ass. And that was my girl. Okay?
Not in that order.
One night or one day or whenever it was when I was a youngster, I got it in me to do a strip tease in the kitchen in front of two of my aunts and my grandmother. and I threw my drawers at my grandma.
Whew.
My aunt Ann could tell the story better because she couldn't stop laughing. But I threw my drawers at the woman I love the most. So when I say I earned all my ass women, I earned them.
Yeah. And I can see
I've
Auntie
been on
Ann
the
laughing to this day.
listen. Hold on. I've been on the varsity my whole life. I earned that ass whooping. I was like, oh, my grandma did this. My mama did this. Did you throw your drawers at her? No. Okay, nigga. I'm just saying. I strip teased in the kitchen in front of my grandmother. That's my story, and I'm not ashamed of it.
Yeah.
You know, women had the slut walk. I don't know what to call it, but I'm gonna come up with a name for this walk. And men, you can follow me, which no man will come with me. And that's the point also. As we move on, let's go.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Well, the biggest thing is you just gotta want to be together. How do you?
Man, Red had to press pause for a second. Yeah, man. I was unpacking the idea, just listen to you guys talk and just, again, listen, we talked about this several times. Constantly about, and just thinking about was societal support of how men treated us, the men in our lives treated us. So there was some societal support to a certain extent, to where your friends may have heard what your uncle did and be like, dang. But that dude, they were probably thinking that dude still, brought you and took you home and fed you. You know what I'm saying? Our generation, right? Our generation without the fathers, right? We broke the cycle or did our work to break the cycle for the generations after us. But our generation's fathers was disconnected, wasn't around. So I'm pretty sure there were folks looking around at my life and saying, wow, I wish the men in my life did that. Pretty sure you experienced the same, and we pretty much know that's probably the same for Rennie. So, but I think it's different nowadays when I think young folk take things for granted. And I don't know, I'm not so sure the necessary recognition of the love, the respect, but to your credit, which I take to heart, it's like, hey man, whatever, just do the work. These folks are different. Don't expect it, just do the work.
Hey man, no. Do the work is the thing.
Yeah.
Because the work, I don't care if you lift weights at 5 in the morning or 5 in the evening. If you consistent, it's gonna show. Because that's the work.
Yeah.
We in this age of we gotta show everybody everything. But some things need to be grown in the dark. There are things that you need to be alone, isolated, and build.
Mm-hmm.
No outside noise or interference.
Yes.
And you need to just it's gonna be cliche, but you need to have that bullshit Rocky theme in your head as you go. I'll give you a good example. So when my son was in high school, I knew he had a big test or an exam or something was coming. because he would play this Eminem song. And in the morning in the bathroom, I would hear the Eminem song,
Dun, 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 dun.
and I'd be like, okay, is something going down? I would never have to ask him. We didn't talk about it. But I just knew, okay, he got his theme song. Something's happening. If you want to share it with me, he'll share. If not, I know what's up, right?
Right.
That's his theme song that he got to play out loud. What's your theme song in your head? What's the thing that's gonna push you and motivate you? To me, and maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm messed up, and people will tell me otherwise. What else is there? What else are you relying upon? And I'll give full disclosure. I'll give full disclosure for me, because I'm not saying I got all the answers. I'm gonna give full disclosure for me.
Mm-hmm.
My makeup is, I'm gonna give full disclosure. Me and Rob are brothers and boys for over 30 years.
Yes, sir.
Rob is in better shape than me. If we got on the track right now and said, let's run until somebody quits, I'm going to beat him by one step, because the asshole in me won't let him win.
Right.
I will be in the hospital pissing blood for a week and a half. And he laughs because he knows that's what's true about me.
No doubt. No doubt.
So I come from a different perspective. I have a self motivation thing that was built and instilled in me, that prove, as soon as you say that I can't prove you wrong, I am going to almost die to prove you wrong.
Right.
So that's where I'm coming from. So maybe I only speak to a certain type of person. And to that person, you understand. To that person that's close to it, yes, do it. On the other side of that sacrifice, on the other side of that doubt, on the other side of that, is pretty sweet.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
And I will add one more thing, since we wait for Randy to come back, which probably is a topic for another day. I was taught that behind every success is an asshole.
Some
Or
may say.
perceived asshole. Or
Right.
perceived asshole.
Right.
Because greatness can't be achieved by luxury and comfort. An asshole makes you go to the next level
and be uncomfortable.
There's no Jackson 5 or Michael Jackson without Joe.
Right.
There's no Venus and Serena without Richard.
Mm-hmm.
There's no Tiger Woods without Earl.
There's no Lonzo or LaMelo.
Yeah. And no. They're all assholes. Now, let me give you the other side of the coin. We talk about those black men, and they're called assholes. But when you get your lawyer, your advocate, you're this person, you're that person that's not black, you call them supportive.
Mm.
You call them advocates.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to name a bigger advocate than Joe Jackson,
Right.
Richard Williams.
Right.
I want you to name a bigger advocate than a man that's like Richard Williams that's standing on a table with his unproven daughters saying they're going to be the best in the world.
That's dope.
As opposed to the guy, once your talent is present, going, I believe in them. I believe in him. I believe in her.
Now.
My loyalty in life ultimately is to the people that loved me when there was no future in it.
Mm. For sure.
But that's just me. What do I know?
Love it.
Hey man, you probably should play the next clip, nigga.
Yeah, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and get this thing. Hold up.
3 cars before he bought his own car. But me and my brother, my father was just a man. He wore the same shoes every single day. Bought my mom 3 cars before he bought his own car. Bought me and my brother and my sister our cars before he bought anything for himself. That's my superhero. So when my superhero says to me, I was scared. There was times I wanted to leave. Now I'm like, shit, that was me.
Yeah.
So now he looks more human to me than he ever looked because he was being honest. And what that did was give me the confidence to say, wait a minute. So all this time you thought you were fucking up and I turned out like this.
Yes.
I was like, I need to tell my sons early what my fears are. And that's why I was telling you, tell your kids, man, because the minute they see you as human and no longer see you as this esoteric creature that has to be perfect, they'll come to you and talk to you about their fears. And then you can help guide them.
Whew. What conversation about your fears have you had with your children?
So I have the blessing to have one son and one daughter. And contrary to what some folks say, it's a whole different experience.
Hmm.
Me and my daughter, I'll start with her, even though she's younger. We engage in a course of conversation that me and my son are just coming around to. Because her needs were different than his needs.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got to tell you, I disagree. No, I won't say I disagree. But I want to say that as a man, you need to be Superman to your children. Superman in the comics wasn't all powerful. We all knew what Superman's weaknesses were.
Mm-hmm. True.
And he overcame them in front of you. But initially, you didn't know what his weaknesses were. I think we have it twisted right now that we tell men's weaknesses to their children before you show them their strengths.
That's a good point.
So when I expose or when I share my weaknesses with my children, they've already seen my strengths. I am met with, it's okay, daddy.
Mm.
I get it. Like, I've never received pushback from my kids. As a kid, because of the relationship or lack of a relationship I had with my father, he could have never exposed his weaknesses to me
Right.
because I was already told his weaknesses, whether or not they were true.
True. Mm.
That's what I had in my head. So I come from a different perspective. I would dare anybody, anyone on this planet, to walk up to my son and daughter and attempt to sit down and say, let me tell you about your father.
Mm.
Good luck. I don't understand. No, that's not true. I do understand. I do understand the mission of breaking down men.
Mm.
What I don't understand is how men have participated in it.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm not trying to put it on us, but I'm just so mad that we folded. We better than this.
Off code.
And maybe that's just the way I am, but give up is not in me. And some of us gave up too early. That's
Hmm.
all. Just, I'm not faulting nobody. I'm not like, but damn, man, hold on. Like, he need to see you. She need to see you. Like, you don't know what you mean to her. You don't know what you mean to him.
Right. Real
I mean,
talk.
hey man, I grew up without my dad, and no disrespect to him. Rest in peace. I got nothing but love. Okay, the facts are the facts. We didn't have a relationship, and he went through what he went through, and now I know more of it what he went through. But there's still a part of me be like, man, just hold on.
Right. Right.
And I didn't go through what he went through. Mine was lighter,
Hmm.
but I held the rope.
Yeah,
And
bro.
I'm on the other side, and I'm like, man, whew, my baby boy is a man. My baby girl is growing. And I'm like, I'm here for all of it. And can't nobody tell us nothing. Nobody can tell my kids about their daddy.
Man, I'm still holding the rope and I don't know.
But that's what I'm saying. On the other side is beautiful.
Okay. Okay.
But how about this? I'll offer this. Let's say, because it's not 100% thing, you got multiple kids and shit happens. But holding the rope is what's important
For sure.
because that's about your character. That's
For
about
sure.
who you are. And as men, it's about duty, honor, and legacy. I don't care if you are religious or believe in it, but we can all recognize the story of Jesus as duty, honor, and legacy.
Yep. Yep.
He had a duty, honor, and legacy to his father, God, to his father's children, and to the legacy of humanity and what his father created. We have that. I don't care, and this is just me. This is my philosophy. I can, before I say this, this is zero shade on my ex-wife. This is zero shade on any woman I've ever been with. Women I don't even have children with. This is zero shade on women in general. That don't have nothing to do with me. You don't have nothing to do with me. I walked in the door who I am. My morals, my responsibilities, the things that my foundational things that I live by are about me. So when my children see me, that's what they see.
Love it. Love it. Hold on, let me hear one more on this thing.
Together for the long haul.
Well, the biggest thing is you just gotta want to be together.
Now, how do you guys stay together for the long haul?
Well, the biggest thing is you just gotta want to be together. You know, women ask me all the time, like, what did Kadeem do to make you want to be monogamous? I'm like, Kadeem never did anything. I wanted to be a husband. I wanted to be married to someone. But also, I'm very deliberate about telling her what I want and need and what I require. You know, there's a lot on the internet about women saying what they want and require. And every time a man says what he wants, it's like, oh, you're asking for too much. And I'm just like, nah, I'll get one life. I'll get one life. And I'm going to dedicate my life and everything I have to you. If we're going to do this together, this is what I require. And I hope you make the choice to do the same for me and reciprocate that. And we talk about being of service to each other. Every morning, Kadeem wakes up and she makes a decision that she wants to be of service to me. So for us, that's how it works for us. And that doesn't work for everybody. But that works for us.
Sorry.
Yeah. He said a couple things on that. What's your thoughts?
My thoughts are, first of all, shout out to him. And what they have is dope.
Yeah. Yep.
However, I think I'm correct. And Martin Luther King was quoted. I'm paraphrasing in terms of civil rights movement. That he said he basically brought his people into a burning building.
Yes.
If you have his philosophy with the wrong woman, you're gonna burn the building.
Ooh, yeah. I'll see you.
Now, if you right, you 100. But if you're wrong,
Tinderbox.
I'm never gonna leave. Only works what I'm never gonna go. And if we can be honest about the divorce laws and the breakup laws, they're in the advantage of the women.
Oh, for sure.
Now, if a woman has a "I'm never going to leave or go" attitude, it actually makes her stronger than yours because the incentives are in her favor.
Yep.
If you have that woman, yes, that's what's up. I don't know how you can decipher that. I don't have the answer. But if you have that, that's what's up.
Yeah, that's cool. I and that what he said at the end about, you know, just asking for or just laying out his requirements and his needs. Again, I think it goes back to what you were saying earlier about, you know, you got to have the minerals for that. Because most cats don't.
Women's standards are turned into R&B songs, books, and movies.
For sure.
Men's standards are offensive. In general. I'll stand on the table. I'll stand on the table and say it.
Hey, we was coming back home the other day, and After 7 came on, and made me think about that comedian. He's like, "I give you the sun, the wind, the moon, the stars, and the mountain, and I'll give you more."
Man, listen, I was having a conversation because when I got to the 20th, I don't know if it was 20th or the 25th, of why can't men be more like my grandfather?
Oh my God.
Without the next sense being, I'm just like grandmama.
Right.
So as a young man that was raised by his grandparents, I have both my grandmother and my grandfather in me, and I saw the operations with them. I can operate like my grandfather. I have yet to meet my grandmother.
Ooh.
Now, there's a young lady that can tell that same story opposite of mine. And if we talk, me and her are okay.
Right. Yep.
But for the vast majority of us, lady, you ain't your grandmama.
Right.
You just want the benefits. You know what? This is what I liken it to. You know how kids go to college on the GI Bill, but they was never in the army?
Right.
That's what that shit is. These niggas is on the GI Bill. This is what they want, dog. Private Benjamin ass niggas. This is what I'm saying. That's what they want, dog. Oh, I want this, I want that. All I hear is me, I. And don't get me wrong, I can be selfish. But if you allow me a little room to say this,
do it.
Because you don't know me a long time. I was a senior in college when I became a father. 21 to 22 years old. And it took me a little bit to adjust to that. But anybody, and you know, for you fact checking niggas, you can do the Google. It ain't even gonna be Google. You got to find them. But there are several people on our campus that saw me pushing a stroller. My 5th year of college, because it took me 5 years to graduate. And there are a bunch of pictures in the archives if you want to come knock on the door with me and my son.
Mm-hmm.
It took all of that to get me to where I am.
Yes.
I'm just asking folks, what did it take for you?
Mm.
For all your judgment, for all your know-how. Because I've been waiting, man. I've been waiting my whole life for folks to show me the proof.
The receipts.
Like, give me, you know what Bone Thug say, meet me at the crossroads. Can you meet me over there and show me how we can get down? So I could have skipped over all this.
For sure.
Now, with that said, you know what I haven't asked for?
What's that?
Don't judge me. I remember in college, so we're going to go in the way back machine. I remember in college, certain young women, were turned off by the fact that I was pushing that stroller and I had that baby.
Right.
And I didn't hold it against them to say, why would I want a guy with a kid when my whole life is in front of me?
Right. No, hey, no shade. All good.
No shade, right? I get it. Shit, I'm pushing a stroller on the college campus. But by that flip side, why would a guy with no kids not want a woman with a kid?
Mm-hmm.
Misogynist. No, it's not different when it's my life.
No, Neanderthal.
No. See how it goes? See how it goes, dog?
Yep.
I'm just in general, and there are exceptions to the rule, but in general, as a man, I've learned how to be okay with women's choices. I just want women to be okay with our choices.
Very simple. It's very simple.
Which is off topic, but on my mind.
Hey, but on point. It's very simple. Hey, and on that note, last one. You're gonna love this one.
What you're saying is happening in terms of their standards going up, but it takes a really long period of time for them to realize what you're saying is happening in terms of their standards going up, but how men are seeing them is starting to decrease in terms of the volume of pool of men that they want and that wants them, right? They're like, oh, I'm just gonna get better with time. I'm gonna get sexier with time. And I said, well, if that's true, then why aren't hundreds and thousands of men lined up outside of retirement homes trying to date your grandmama? Ooh. If there's no cutoff, if beauty's just gonna ever increase, then the baddest women on the planet should be in their 70s and 80s. And right. Nobody so there's something that shifts between 20 and 80. And y'all keep thinking you gotta hit 60, 70 to get to that point of realizing, like, oh, I guess I can't just only sell my beauty now. Like, no, like, beauty is common. Beauty is common, and femininity and softness and a nurturing spirit and a loving spirit is not. So the women who lead with those things are going to end up with the outcomes that most women that are single and don't want to be actually want.
We're gonna leave on that one.
You want me to say something about that?
Yeah, for sure. I'll throw that. Wall is undefeated.
We all have walls.
Mm-hmm.
Life has it, and that's the design. I'll offer this. Are you the preacher, the choir, or the congregation?
I like that. Say more. Say more.
The preacher is going to tell the sermon. And for the purpose of this, the sermon is the truth.
Mm.
The choir's job is to sing behind that preacher, whether it's the truth or not.
Uh-huh.
The congregation's job is to hear the message and decipher whether it applies to them or not.
Mm.
So all I'm asking is, what's your role? Or what are you looking for?
Oof.
When you hear the preacher, are you the choir or the congregation? When you hear the message, it is your job to just co-sign or decipher. If you're the choir, then anything outside of the message you're supposed to sing behind, you're gonna shut down.
Yep.
I had a conversation with someone, and I was telling them about themselves a little bit
Mm-mm.
and what I saw,
Mm-mm.
and they were like, "No, no, no." I said, "Okay, who is the most trusted person?" And I sent them to their most trusted person, and I said, "I'm going to trust you to take this information." I got a call back. The trusted person said, "Yeah, he got a point." But
Look
that
at that.
person was in the congregation,
Yes.
so we could have that conversation.
Yes.
If the person was in the choir, we couldn't do that
Couldn't do it.
because they just trying to figure out their notes to amplify the message. So for me, I'm just trying to figure out when I'm dealing with somebody in my choir practice, as a man that has had good and bad intentions,
Been there, done that, bro.
I can enter into a conversation and I'll fill you out and I'll be like, "Oh, all I need to say is this."
Mm-hmm.
And next thing you know, draws fall down like it's showtime at the Apollo.
Yeah, I was about to say, you got reputation.
And weighing it up, and the draws fall down. I was like,
I Kanye.
drop side. We gonna set this party. I'm sorry. Shout out to our number one Chicago and my number 4. So
There it is.
yeah, my number one Chicagoan.
There it is.
From Chicagoan to Chicagoan, and we blow like Chicago wins.
Hey, he got it on the phone. He represents. Because I'm not getting a towel on mine.
Man, and I ain't getting that lay on
mine. Hey, my cousin got a towel on his though. So shout out to him.
But you can write that small. It's a little city. I'm just saying that. LA big.
Hey, city small, but that tattoo big.
First of all, only you and your cousin, and maybe two of your other cousins that listen know what talent is.
Hey, for real. For real.
A talent sounds like a question you got wrong in a science quiz, but don't worry about that.
Yeah, it kind of does. Huh?
Yeah, I'm just saying.
What is
the
the
point
talent?
is,
No.
the point is that you know, this is what I'll say. I'm gonna bring it all the way back around.
Okay.
We have fallen short in many obligations as men, but not in the obligations we're accused of. One of the major places we have fallen short is that we're not honest.
This is true.
The lack of honesty and the lack of holding our standards as men in the pursuit of what I would call the divine moisture.
Yes.
We've lost our way and we are victims of what we've done and what we've created. We've been dishonest. But again, not dishonest in the way that you think. We haven't shared what we like and dislike for real.
Right.
We haven't shared what we hold high and what we hold low for real.
Right.
And so I heard this thing where a young woman said, well, you like the BBLs and you like the women this and that. No.
Oh.
In our grandfathers and great grandfathers generation, no different. In the United States, they said there's a separation between church and state.
Right.
There's a separation between whores and wives.
There it is.
No. We'll look at the whores.
Yes.
But that don't make her a wife.
By no means.
And so what I try to tell women is this is constitutional.
Because of that separation.
There's a separation. And I get in trouble because I'll say, no, ma'am. No. I will fight for your right to do what you're doing right now. But I want you to know you're a whore. And I will fight for your rights to be a whore. That does not make you a wife.
Right. And that's where the twistedness comes in.
I want everybody to have the freedom to live their lives. I spoke earlier about both of my kids, which aren't kids anymore. But let's just say, for example, that I didn't, I wasn't involved, and I didn't take care of her, and all that good stuff, right?
Right.
By definition, they're still my children.
Yes.
By definition, by strict definition, they're still my children. But in reality, they're not, and they wouldn't have nothing to do with me.
Huh.
Definition of something and true outcome are two different things. By definition, you can do whatever you want to do, but you're not entitled to the outcome.
Right.
So our women in general have an idea that I can do whatever I want and I'm entitled to the outcome. And who are the people or person or group or whatever that's telling them, no, that's not it?
Us.
Nope. Nobody. You will say us, but then that would imply that young black women are trained to listen to older black men.
Well, that part
is false.
And
this the
on that
part
note,
where you this the part where you shout out Tally and Twine, nigga.
yeah, I was about to say, and on that note, shout out to the motherland continent timepiece from Rock of the Day, Tally and Twine. Yes, sir. Big shout out to JT CT. Big shout out to Rennie. Big shout out to the Ghost of Lebo. Big shout out to Dio behind the boards. Big shout out to Tally and Twine, of course. Big shout out to TGS, the gathering spot. Big shout out to SBL, Skinny Blacks Lounge. JT, take us out. You get the last word.
We was talking about this earlier. I'm gonna give it to you. I live alone, and because I live alone, I take care of all the stuff, the grocery shopping, the this, to that. So I was at Smart and Final, and I'm standing in the aisle, and I'm looking at trash bags because I ran out. It's been a long time because I bought the industrial pack,
200,
right? And I ran out of trash bags. It's been so I am standing, looking at trash bags, and they had all these different kind of trash, but then the cinch sack, twisty tie, the this, to that, and I was sitting there for a minute, and I took a pause. I was like, God damn, there's a lot of trash bags. And I'm thinking, and then at a certain point, I caught myself like, are you really making a 78-cent decision on these trash bags?
Great point.
Right? And then something else hit me on the way home.
What's that?
I thought more about trash bags than most folks think about their big decisions in life.
That's crazy.
And if that applies to you, just think about your cinch sack, nigga.
And on that note, we out. Dio, cut us off.